Okie dokie. Looks like I found it. And I'm also going to take a smoke break because these these technical difficulties are stressing me out this Sunday. This Sunday, guys. Sorry, bear with me. Ooh, excuse me. Pardon my dust. Let's see. I got this from the Daily Beast. Let's see. The title is How Cops Hunted Down an Accused Homeless Serial Killer. An affidavit filed Tuesday lays out cops' frantic search for Gerald Brever III, who allegedly attacked a series of homeless men, killing 2 in New York City and Washington, D.C. So, this takes place in like 2 different areas. Essentially, a man was going around shooting, I believe also stabbing as well, homeless men. It was seemingly at random, but through tips, they were able to find who he was and, like, you know, more or less also cross-reference, like, where he was, like, located. And I don't believe they have a weapon, but he went through and did, like, a signature-style thing with the weapon. And this is, you know, obviously allegedly. But the casings were stamped with a C. Now, I don't know what that C stands for, but, you know, they were found at multiple locations. So, I mean, all these kind of things just wind up implicating him. There was a manhunt with a $70,000 reward for his capture. Also, let's see if I can find it here. But one of his Instagram things that he had said was, it was like feeling devilish, feeling godly. And it was creepy. That's so cringy. Like, and it's one of those things where, hey, I get it. I love shit posting. I love being an edge poster, whatever you want to call it. But, like, it's so crazy that someone like this really was being serious in terms of, like, I'm gonna be like, I don't even know what the ethos, the mental gymnastics you have to do to get yourself here, where you're literally saying, like, I'm gonna prowl the streets and I'm going to kill homeless people. Like I don't understand the logic. Like you're cleaning up the streets. Like, that's not the Batman, my guy. Like, even he isn't doing that, and that's a fucking fictional character, dude. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. But yeah, like, this man was running around with, like, I think a 22, just shooting people. And fuck that guy. Fuck that shit. Luckily, out of the people who were, I don't want to say luckily, but, you know, there was only 2 people who were actually killed in this. I think it's kind of why when I've heard the story, the word serial killer hasn't been used as much. But at the same time, it's one of those things where he had intent to kill. So yeah, really nasty shit. Don't want to talk about that, though. There was also another situation that happened in Texas. Got this from CNN. A 13-year-old was behind the wheel in Texas crash that killed 9 people and left 2 University of Southwest golfers critically injured. So the situation that happened, there was a 13-year-old who was behind the wheel of a pickup truck, and in the process of driving, I think the pickup truck was on a spare tire. The spare tire failed, and the child he drove, like, he kind of, like, just couldn't correct properly and drove head on into another truck, or into another, I guess, the bus that was carrying the golf team, I'm sorry. So, let's see here. They don't list the name of the child in here, but the father's name was Henrik Simmons. He was 38 years old. Essentially, there is a driving education course that kind of can start at 14, but, like, you have to be 15 years old to apply for your learner's license to even be able to get behind the wheel and, like, do all that kind of shit. So, like, obviously this was, like, not above board. This was bad shit. Also, I didn't bring up the article in today's podcast episode, but apparently, like, this kid has had, like, they did some digging. The internet's done some digging. But apparently, like, this kid has had some mental issues or family issues. Something has happened before. Like, he burnt down his home, and like, you know, that set the family back. That was some stuff that's kind of come to light. But in this article, like I said, they didn't mention the child's name, but unfortunately, the crash did, you know, lead to, you know, a lot of loss of life. The teenager died, the father died, as well as I believe, was it 7 others as well. So, and then I believe 2 were injured. So it was just really bad situation. I'm trying to think here. I think it does have the names in this article. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. There is Mauricio Sanchez, 19, of Mexico. Travis Garcia, 19, of Pleasanton, Texas. Jackson Zinn, 22, of Westminster, Colorado. Carissa Rains, 21, of Fort Stockton, Texas. And Tiago Souza, 18, of Portugal. Also, there was the coach, Tyler James, who is 26. They have a lot of condolences on the page, just talking about them. So it's definitely, it's a sad situation. But our thoughts and our prayers go out to the families, the people involved. Man, gosh, it is definitely a bummer. And obviously, when it comes down to that situation with the teenager driving, that's not a good thing, but it's just one of those things too where there's nothing you can really do in this. But yeah. I got some more news. This is definitely not something I'm going to hit too hard, though. I just wanted to kind of cover. It's kind of been popping up. USA Today. Fed raises interest rates for first time in 3 years to fight inflation. Forecasts 6 more hikes in 2022. So obviously that's fucking gross. I'm not stoked about that. Also, too, it's money shit. It's number shit, which is like something that's way out of my fucking depth. Like they go through the rigmarole here of explaining it. That's why I like to try to loosely at least attribute these things so that you can kind of look it up, see it yourself. Also, I've heard a couple of podcasts explain how inflation works. I guess my layman's term explanation, while I'm mildly tipsy, is as inflation goes up, we're able to get more money and all these kind of things and have more money to spend. The economy is quote unquote good. But then naturally on the other side of it, things go up. So that's why like the price of things have been going up, as well as there's obviously tons of other factors, like COVID's been a factor, the supply chain. Also, they also mentioned here the Ukraine-Russia situation is a huge thing that people did not expect to have happen. So that's causing a lot of chain reactions, a lot of inflation. So all of this kind of comes up. How do we fight that inflation? Well, apparently the Fed raises interest, which is like, what? That doesn't sound great, because it isn't great. It sucks ass. I've heard, The Daily also has a podcast episode where they kind of explain how in the 70s they instituted this, the guy who came over to take over for the Fed during the Jimmy Carter administration. It was really shitty, but more or less how he explained it is like, hey, we're going to raise up the inflation or raise up the interest to fight this inflation. And by doing so, people aren't going to spend as much. And then the price of things are going to go down. Naturally, though, if you do it too much, if it goes too hard, then a recession can happen, and that's bad. So that's why these hikes are happening in a strategic way. I think it says not only is it going to happen throughout this year, it's going to probably go into next year. So these kind of things can suck when you're trying to have a credit card, get a new car, get a home. It means your interest is going to be higher, and it's going to be more money that you're going to have to pay over time, and that sucks. So yeah, that's more or less Economy by Isaiah. There you go. that's like the long short. This is already making my blood boil and my head hurt. So I'm not going to stay too long on this. Also, if I got anything wrong there, or if you're like an economist or know more about this, feel free to hit my DMs up. Or if you want to like come on the podcast, I would love to have you, because explaining these things to people is really helpful, because I feel like a lot of times we all do the layman's thing of just like, oh, let's just blame the president. Like, it's his fault. It's their administration's fault. Sometimes that's the case. But in the situation that, like I said with the guy from the 70s, like, he knew full well that people were going to hate it and they were going to hate the administration for it, but it's going to help the economy in the long run. And it did. So, you know, it'd just be nice to explain these things in a way that so people can get it, you know, and also to maybe even help point the finger at why these things happened beyond quote unquote supply chain, beyond quote unquote COVID or the war, because there are other things at play for sure. Speaking of more shit, I got this from Fortune. Leading ferry operator sacked its entire crew over Zoom and had handcuffed trained balaclava wearing security guards ready to usher on cheaper replacements. So, boo this company, P.2, leading UK ferry operator. So, essentially, they are helping get people, and maybe even potentially stuff, from point A to point B. I'm not 100% sure there. But they sacked 800 people over a Zoom call. They told everyone who was on duty or whatever, like, hey, we got a major announcement. Get to port, you know. Ooh, excuse me. You know, get to port. We got some news. And this is the news. You're fired. And immediately, like, labor unions in the UK were like, hey, hold up. Don't get off the boat. Like, we can actually maybe even try to negotiate here, do something, protest, because this is fucked up. And they were already prepared for that. And they said, we got people on dock ready for y'all. And they're masked up and they're ready to take y'all out. And I believe that they did wind up getting everybody off. This did wind up making for delays. I heard from like the BBC podcast I listened to that there are people who are like, oh shit, I got a notification saying, hey, I can't use this ferry now. This is really jamming me up. I invested my money into this, because it's kind of like probably like any kind of airfare experience or any kind of like Greyhound experience. Like, the people using this are not like really wealthy, affluent people. You know, they're not well off. Like, they put their money in and now they're saying, oh, this is null and void ticket. Like, you're probably not even going to be able to get a quick refund or whatever. And you got to get to where you need to go. So, I mean, they're jammed up. I guess that's probably part of the reason why this company is trying to sit there and say, like, hey, we didn't make money over the past few years, or at least over last year. I think they said they had a 100 million pound loss, which in US dollars is 131 million. That was over the year loss. And they're like, hey, we got to make sure these ferries run on time, and we got to do it for less. So they hired in a cheaper company to do the job and laid off a bunch of people. And that's really fucking shitty. We've covered that before with the whole Vishal Garg situation and his company. This was even, I feel like this is like worse, even though it was 100 people less. I mean, like, they had armed people just ready to throw you off the literal job you were doing. Like, what the fuck? Just nasty shit. So once again, boo this company, P&O. Fuck that. Keep you posted if anything else comes up from that, if I hear it. Last article, though, a little bit of good news. A little bit of shining light in your day, hopefully here. I like to give y'all that. You know that. Actually, you know what? I wanna feel as good as possible giving this news. So we're gonna give you another. We're gonna hear another schmirk break. Oh yeah. Oh Delhi. But yeah, we've been covering the James Webb Telescope. I got this from The Hill, but they got their first test footage to us, We got to see it. And actually, like I said, this isn't even like their official like goal, but they were able to get a photo of a star with other stars and galaxies. And as I'm looking at this picture right now, you can really see the difference actually. Like, it's wild. And they were just able to get this shot. And this isn't even like them doing the full thing, you know? So, yes, it's like this shot, and I actually have it in the description of the episode if you get a chance to see that. But the shot was taken during a critical alignment phase and shows a bright star with dozens of other stars and galaxies behind it. And it's a test shot and not even official observation footage. So it's fucking dope. I love space. It's scary and it's awesome, and I think it's a good place to leave us. That's the episode. Thanks for sticking around. If you have, you're the best around, and nothing's gonna ever keep you down. And if you'd like to pick me up, I have a Patreon. That's Isaiah News, but patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you would like to donate, become a newsie, get access to the Discord, that would be great. You'd be awesome. Isaiah News 1 is the Gmail. If you want to hit me up on there. You know all the other socials by now. I don't have to shill too hard today. I'm not going to do all that. But thanks for stopping by. And I hope your week is awesome and magical and great. And I hope I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.